Body as sacred. Welcome dear learners. This lecture on body as sacred has been developed based on the reference available. It has been divided into the following subtitles, namely Introduction, Myths about the body in religion and philosophy, the religious practices, the sacred body in religion, animism and spirituality, folk deity worship, sanctity for the discussion. Shall we now go to the topic? Dear learners, as objectives of this lecture, learners will enable first to study the body in religion and philosophy, to interpret the concepts of body in myths and philosophies, to understand the body is sacred at various religion. Introduction. The body is basically a structure. Each organism has a different type of body structure, and the body structure of human being is very much different from the body structure of an animal. Even among the body structures among the human beings, there are differences between a female body structure and a male body structure, and every individual's body is unique. Peoples have different types of ideas about the origin of the world and the origin of human beings. One of the common ideas is that the human body is sacred. It seems that these ideas have been created with human beings and more especially human bodies as the main focus. This point of view is also considered as human-centric thought. The body is an analytical category in the disciplines of social sciences and humanities, particularly within the context of cultural studies. It is apt to remember that body-related studies have been done from various other disciplinary perspectives such as philosophy, anthropology, sociology, history, psychology, linguistics, literary theory, art history and feminist and gender studies. In this lecture, we have focused on religious studies and their discourses on the nature and structure of a human body. The body has been represented, regulated, disciplined, ritualized, cultivated, purified and transformed in different religious traditions. However, the human body as a concept is yet to be adequately theorized from the methodological perspective of history of religion. First one, myths about the body. Every ethnic group in the world has a different idea about the origin of the human beings and about the origin of its own group and race. In these ideas also reflect each ethnic group's idea about the body. For example, we understand from the myth of Todas that the tribe of Todas identify themselves as children of buffalo. Toda is a tribal group that inhabits the Nilgiri hill ranges. This ethnic group is one of the pastoral societies. As said earlier, the people belonging to this tribe identify themselves to be the children of the buffalo. Buffalo is the totemic animal of Toda tribe. Being the totemic animal, buffalo is considered to be sacred. Their main food is buffalo milk. These people use the buffalo milk in various forms. They drink it as plain milk, they make butter, cheese and ghee out of it. They also ferment it and drink it as buttermilk or curds. Their economy is also based on the buffalo milk. They used the buffalo milk as a significant barter to trade other necessary things from the neighboring tribes. Buffalo is so one with the people of Toda tribes that even the tribal songs in the funeral ceremonies reveals the cult of the buffalo. Thus, it is certain that the buffalo is an important prop in their social, cultural and religious world. The ancient Tamil poet Kudapulaviyanar says that Undi Mudatre Unavin Pindam. Undi Mudatre Unavin Pindam means that food becomes a body. We are what we eat. This is the crux of this line. The ecologists of today say the same thing in different lines. They say that the human life is based on land, water and nature in which it finds itself. This was already expressed in the 8th century by Tamil saints from the Siddha tradition. Tamil Siddhas considered the human body as the micro-universe and the external world surrounding the body was considered as the macro-universe. Any change in the macro-universe would reflect in the micro-universe, and similarly any change in the micro-universe was considered as the result of changes taking place in the macro-universe. The environment, that is nature, and human body are mutually interconnected. One of the Siddha saints, Tirumular, says in Tirumandiram that Udal Valarthene, Uyir Valarthene. This Tirumular quote can be roughly translated as my body is my soul. Tirumular is one of the famous poets and Saiva saints in Tamil Nadu at Bhakti movement period. His text Tirumandiram concentrates on religion and body. The body in religion and philosophy. Sarvaha or Lokayada philosophy discusses the origin of the body. The philosophy of Lokayada states that the world and living beings are made up of 4 energies, namely earth, water, air and fire. Earth, water, fire and spring are the 4 subtle elements that construct the human body. These 4 eternal substances combine in different proportions to form this universe and the things in it. That is how this body and consciousness soul arise. As the body grows, the body wears away. Therefore, there is no such things as the soul, as life other than the body. They believe that some kind of power is created by the combination of the 4 subtle elements, and when the body is destroyed, the power also disappears. Shiva Shanmugha Raja points out that according to Lokayada, pleasures and pains are natural to the body. The Siddha system of medicine and philosophy perceives the body as a combination of the 5 elements like earth, water, air and sky. Sankara's philosophy in the 5th century AD in India states that Brahman is the source of the universe. It manifests itself in different forms of this world. Brahman appears in the living world and does not undergo any change. Brahman is different, the soul is not different. Brahman appears in the world in all types of things. To explain it, Brahman is called Paramatma and life is called Jivatma. Brahman appears as the world and life, otherwise all are illusions. It is also known as Nirguna Brahman when it is not mixed with illusion. When the human being born from Brahman gets rid of his delusions and gets rid of the taint and reunites with Brahman, it is called Mukti. Janamarga is the best form of that. Therefore, we can say that there is variety of body related philosophies in India. One type of philosophical theories is the opinion that the world and human beings are made up of subtle elements earth, water, air and fire. Degrees of power of these elements results in the degrees of energies as well. Another type of Advaita philosophy says that the world and human beings are illusions. Brahman is the only truth. Religious philosophies offer various explanations for the origin of life and human beings. Every religion says that God created everything in this world. At the same time, each religion's creation account is different from the other religion. Hinduism says that God Brahma emerged from the Vishnu's womb. And this God Brahma created the earth, sky, heaven and then became male and female. According to Christianity, God created the sea, sky, birds, animals and finally Adam. He created the woman Eve from Adam's rib. Christianity says that humans are the descendants of Adam and Eve. The Islam says that God created Adam, the first man. It says that the woman Eve came from that man, Adam. Thus, all the three religions, namely Hinduism, Christianity and Islam, say that God created humans. It means that God created the human body. Next, we will discuss sincerity. Mircea Eliot says that holiness is a rhetoric that is closely related to God and religion. Holiness means good, important, unique, excellent, admirable, high and transcendent. The English word sacred is derived from the Latin word sacer. The word sacer actually can be translated as consecrated and pure. Religion says that the female body is formed from the male body. It is said that the male body is sacred and the female body is impure. That is why male body is classified as strong and female body is classified as soft. Women's menstrual periods are also considered impure periods. Because of that, the female body is marginalized as dirty and impure, but the male body is celebrated as pure and sacred. Next, we will discuss the religious practices. Human bodies are interpreted in one way in public spaces and in other ways in ritual and religious spaces. Once the religions got institutionalized, the adherence to each religion also reflected the religion in and through their bodies. For instance, those who apply pattai, that is sacred as in three horizontal lines, Tiruniru, on their foreheads are followers of Saivism. Those who apply Ramam, that is three vertical lines on their foreheads, are followers of Vaishnavism. Those who display a cross either as a locket wound round their neck or as a pin on their outer dress are the followers of Christianity. And men and women who wear a topi, that is skull cap, and purka or niqab, hijab, respectively, are easily identified as Muslims. Without them saying which religions they belong to, it is revealed. The body here acts as a symbolic system that conveys social and cultural meanings. This approach is built upon the insights of Mary Douglas, whose work on the symbolism of the body emphasized the dialectical relation between the physical body and the social body. Moreover, the body postures also reflect a person's religious belonging. In Hinduism, the devotees worship God with both hands clasped. In Christianity, they kneel and make the sign of the cross. In Islam, they kneel and pray. Here, they bow their bodies and worship the God. Thus, every religion has defined how people should worship God and through it. Their body has been captivated and turned into a religious body. Because God is divine, the temples, churches and mosques, which are seen to be the abodes of God and are also considered as sacred spaces. Victor Turner, an anthropologist, identifies these sacred spaces as liminal space. He further applies the idea of liminal space to the austere practices performed by devotees as devotional practices. In such times, the normal human bodies are transformed into sacred bodies. The sacred bodies are supposed to be unique, pure and excellent. They deserve our admiration and devotion. As an example, we can cite the preparatory period in which an annual pilgrim goer observes rigorous austere practices before undertaking the pilgrimage journey to the particular pilgrim space. temple or church or mosque. The pilgrim, once he begins to observe the vows, tries to avoid certain practices like abstinence from eating meat and having sexual intercourse. Usually, it begins with the small ritual in which the particular person is identified as the pilgrim choir and the preparatory period is set up for him or her. After the period of preparation, the pilgrimage is completed, the pilgrim is returned to his normal existence. From the time of the initial ritual and the completion of the vow pilgrimage, the pilgrim choir is considered a sacred person. That is why he or she is asked to observe purifying observances. This is the time the person is supposed to be in the liminal space. Only after the completion of the vow, the person is accepted back into the society as a normal person. Next, the sacred body in religion. James Fraser, the author of the famous book The Golden Bough, observed the following regarding the religious practices of the Todas. Among the Todas of southern India, the holy milkman who acts as priest of the sacred dairy is subject to a variety of irksome and burdensome restrictions during the whole time of his incumbency. Thus, he must live in a sacred dairy and may never visit his home or any ordinary village. He must be celibate. If he is married, he must leave his wife. On no account may any ordinary person touch the holy milkman or the holy dairy. Further, the holy milkman never cuts his hair or pares his nails. He never crosses a river by a bridge. If a death occurs in his clan, he may not attend any of the funeral ceremonies. Jain philosophy is the oldest Indian philosophy that separates the body from the soul completely. Jainism and Buddhism are established doctrines and established religions in the Indian subcontinent. It happens that mortification of the body is one of the means of attaining the deity. Mortification is necessary to make the body a holy one. Buddha and Mahavira, who preached new order of life, were also deified in later days. Their bodies after the death became a sacred reality. During the Bhakti literary period in Tamil Nadu, similar thing happened. The bodies of important poet chains were considered sacred. The bodies of Jain bhikkhus, Buddhist monks, Nayanmars of Saivism and the Alvars of Vaishnavism were venerated as divine bodies. Saiva Siddhanta of the Siddhas also considered body as the abode of the divine spirit. Siddhas were diametrically opposite to the view of the Jains and Buddhists, who saw body as a hindrance to attaining moksha or to encounter God. They advocated mortification to purify the body. But the Siddhas of Saiva Siddhanta advocated that God could be encountered in one's own body. Tirumular, one of the Siddha saints, even exhorted the followers not to undertake sacred pilgrimages searching for the presence of God in a faraway temple or a holy river. He said that it was enough to look into oneself to know that God lived in his or her own self. Each one's body, the Siddhas said, was an abode of divine spirit itself. In Hinduism, fasting is observed throughout the month of special days like Amavasai. Amavasai means new moon day, Pradosham, Shashti, Shivaratri and Sangrahara Sadurthi. Saivites fast on Tuesdays and Fridays, and Vaishnavites observe fast on Saturdays. And on these days it is also customary to visit temples. Many also undertake pilgrimages. Tulsi garlands are worn by Lord Ayyappan and God Murugan in the Tamil months of Aipasi, middle of October to middle of November, Margali, middle of December to middle of January, and Thai, middle of January to middle of February in southern India. A large number of men make vows to these gods, and as a sign of church vows they wear garlands of special beads. Women are not allowed. However, girls and children below the age of 10 are allowed to wear garlands. They then fast continuously. They wear special types of clothes. The preferred colors of the clothes are saffron, black, green and red. They go to the temples on foot as pilgrims without wearing footwear. During this period, everyone who wears garlands is called Sami. Sami literally it means saint, regardless of age or caste. They see such person as an image of God. Nowadays, women also wear garlands to Melmaruvattur Adiparasakti Amman temple. Thus, in Hinduism, the body is purified through fasting, Padayatra. Padayatra means pilgrim journey and etc. Christians too all over the world observe fasts on specific days. The 40 days before Christ's resurrection are called Lent. Most of them practice abstinence. They avoid eating non-vegetarian food in these days. Some avoid eating non-vegetarian food only on the Fridays of the Lenten season. Some may skip meals in the days of Lent. Some fast only on Fridays. Similarly, they fast for 30 days before Christmas. During Lent, this fast is observed as a way of remembering the sufferings of Jesus Christ for the redemption of the people. It is the belief of the Christian people that by fasting in this way, they could purify themselves to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus worthily. In Islam, all Muslims around the world fast during the month of Ramadan. During the fasting period, they fast from the rising of the sun of its setting in the evening without eating food or even drinking water. The Quran says that the following about the benefits of Ramadan fasting. Oh, you who believe in God, fasting has been made obligatory on you as it has been made obligatory on those before you. By that you may become pure. Fasting is Islam purifies the body. Next we will discuss animism and spirituality. The anthropologist Edward B. Tylor spoke about the origin of religion. Edward B. Tylor says that the origin of the religion begins with animism. It is the belief of primitive people that the spirit resides in trees, rivers and mountains. That was the reason primitive people worshipped trees, mountains and rivers. It was the belief of the people of that time that if they propitiated the spirits residing in the nature by worshipping them. Thus, the nature and all elements of nature were considered sacred. The spirits would possess women as well. Tamil Sangam literature reveals that the people of those times believed that Murugu would come and possess women. The heroine who falls in love falls ill with a rash on her body due to separation from her hero. The mother believes that the reason why she fell ill was that she was possessed by the god Murugan. The mother conducts a Velan Veriyattu to relieve the heroine from her illness. The inscriptions say that the field where Velan performed his frenzy was covered with red blood after sacrificing a goat and sprinkling it with millet. Murugan here actually stands for the love sickness caused by the hero by his separation to the heroine. Later, we see Lord Murugan as a young, handsome person who is also the god of love. Here, we can see Taylor's doctrine of the spirit world fitting in. Like Murugan, the god of Kurunji land means hilly ranges, descends on young women. God's descent directly into the human body can be known through Sangam poems. This trend can be seen continuing in practices associated with the worship of folk deities even today. Even today, folk deities are believed to be descending onto human bodies. Now, we will discuss about folk deity worship sincerity. The French sociologist Émile Durkheim, who wrote the book The Elementary Forms of Religious Life, gives the following definition for sacredness. He says that the sacred is the symbol, faith and clan symbol of a group of people. All the people come together and worship collectively. This is what Émile Durkheim calls as collective consciousness. This is what he calls the sociology of religious formation. The descent of the folk deities onto the human bodies is called Sami Adudal. Sami means God or spirit. Adudal means possession, spirit possession. The people who are possessed by the spirits are called Samiyadi. That is the one who is possessed. Musical instruments like drums, uduku, melam, percussion instruments play an important role in Samiyadudal. The music prepares the human body for the descent of the spirit. There is a particular moment in which the spirit descends on the human body. As soon as the spirit descends on the human body that is possessed of the spirit is perceived as a divine body or God. This fact gets ratified when people, regardless of the age and social status, fall at the feet of the person possessed by the spirit. In a normal situation, church sign of obeisance is rendered only to God in the temple. During the annual festival taken in honor of the folk deities, the festival which lasts for a month or a week, the people of the village begin by preparation. The preparation to make the village sacred by avoiding any kind of defilement or any sign of blemish, and to begin with observances of purification reserved for the human bodies. Thus, they try changing their normal bodies to purified bodies that is worthy enough to celebrate the festival taken in honor of the folk deity. They clean the town and decorate the streets with neem leaves. People in the village observe abstinence from meat. Even the animals of the village are forced to take part in religious fasting and abstinence. More than that, they indulge in bodily ablutions both morning and evening. They orient their minds towards God. They abstain from drinking intoxicating drinks. They avoid sexual intercourse. In simple terms, we can say that they observe both mental and physical purity. Also, people don't wear sandals on their feet during festivals. They also avoid wearing sandals inside the temples. Thus, they engage in unique and different activities which otherwise do not form part of their daily activities. All these people fast and pay tribute to the local deities. This is done by carrying palkudam, milk pot, fire pot, that is Agni Chatti, Alaku Kuttudal, boring their body parts with needles, walking on the fire, Thi Medital, and going on a pilgrimage. Thus, they mortify their bodies. By doing such mortification, they believe that their bodies could be purified. and thus the bodies could act as proper vessels for God's possession. Seeing such mortification borne by the bodies, the people also believed that God would have mercy on them and grant them their wishes. It is the belief of the people that God will give them what they needed. If this is one outcome experienced by the devotee, on the other hand, his or her body is also perceived as a sacred body by the others. Now, to sum up the lesson. The body is an analytical category in the disciplines of social sciences and humanities, particularly within the context of culture studies. It is apt to remember that body related studies have been done from various other disciplinary perspectives such as philosophy, anthropology, sociology, history, psychology, linguistics, literary theory, art history, and feminist and gender studies. In this lecture, we have focused on religious studies and their discourses on the nature and structure of a human body. The body has been represented, regulated, disciplined, ritualized, cultivated, purified, and transformed in different religious traditions. Every religion says that God created everything in this world. At the same time, each religion's creation account is different from the other religion. Peoples have different types of ideas about the origin of world and the origin of human beings. One of the common ideas is that the human body is sacred. It seems that these ideas have been created with human beings and more especially human bodies as the main focus. Variety of body related philosophies in India. Religious philosophies offer various explanations for the origin of life and human beings. It is an approach which basically studies the sociology of religion. In understanding this perspective, we have discussed about the various views on religion expressed by various scholars. I hope you all must have enjoyed the session and it may have enriched us sacred. Dear learners, we will meet with another schedule. Thank you. All the best.